Okay, for our corrections today, starting with Mingo, you said, wintertime is a very busy period for me because there's my birthday. Uh, uh, I'm very busy during the winter, so change it around. I'm very busy during the winter because not only are there the holidays, but it's also my birthday and uh, maybe many other birthdays. Yeah. Uh, I enjoy the moment, but I don't have memory of what I did specific days. I was in the moment. Sometimes we say that we're in the moment, um, but I don't recall what happened afterwards. What kind of daily job do you do for you? You were talking about like what kind of daily task, maybe. What kind of daily task do you do? You can say for you, or to concentrate on yourself, or to focus on yourself, maybe, to be a little bit more specific. Sohi, the move back if they're not quite fitting. Oh, they move back if they're not quite fitting. You were talking about at your company moving people around. They move back if and fitting is okay, but I also wanted to suggest compatible if they're not compatible. They are moved back if they're not compatible. For Korean people, it's really hard to say happiness. For Korean people, it's really hard to define happiness or to talk about being happy. And I think if you wanted to talk about that further, you might say it's difficult for Korean people to talk about happiness, especially because of Confucianism, for example. The week before, I'm reading a lot of books to remind my mind of the job. The week before an interview, I read a lot of books to refresh. Yeah. And then you can just say it like that, just to refresh, or just as a refresher. Sunhyung, I drink a lot of hot water, and it's my mediation time. I just wanted to correct, it's meditation. Meditation. Yeah, meditation. I have my many time. I have a lot of time. On the second day, it was not good. My ankle was big and I could not walk. On the second day, my ankle was swollen. Yeah, swollen. SWOLLEN, and I couldn't walk. And that's the type of injury you have is a sprain, SPRAIN, yeah, sprain. So my ankle sprain was swollen. Now I like my job, even though the company name is not that named. Now I like my job, even though the company name is not that well known. Yeah, yeah. Jenny? He always makes me smile because of small happening. He always makes me smile because of the little things. We call that the little things. I tried to make some kind of experience more. I tried to gather more experience or get more experience. Yeah. Instead of make some experience more. I also, and also be careful about the word some kind. I often say this a lot of times, that in the I think it's partially because of the culture of trying not to sound too confident, that a lot of people say some kind of, or this kind of thing a little too much, and so it sounds like you are not clear or that you're unsure. So you can say, instead of I tried to make some kind of experience more, I tried to get more experience. Yeah. I also have lots of paperwork. I also have to do lots of paperwork and it's kind of too much. I have a lot of paperwork that is redundant. Do you know the word redundant? REDUNDANT. REDUNDANT. Redundant is something that is just basically like you're kind of repeating a task that is useless. Yeah. I know that feeling that paperwork always feels redundant. Cynthia, these days I have some trouble with some new hires in my company. These days I had some issues. You can say trouble. You could say trouble, but it's like when you think of trouble, you think like a crime, maybe. So I'm having some issues with a new hire in my company. He has no experience. He has no careers. So I had to teach him and lead him. He is inexperienced. He is completely inexperienced. Or he has no experience. Do you guys know this? Under your belt? He has no experience under his belt. I don't know where that comes from, but basically when you say under your belt, it's like saying you have some experience. So he has no experience under his belt. So it's up to me to train him. I make my history every day. I log my experience. When you log something, that's when you're writing. Yeah, I log my experience on a daily basis. And that is all.